BYDFi is a crypto exchange on desktop and mobile where you can spot trade, futures trade, as well as a free test account so you can practice futures trading without getting wrecked. BYDFi.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at the charts. It's Sunday, so again, a bit of a lame day. Usually the lamest. I think it's the lamest day to trade. I don't often trade on Sundays anyway. I don't have the opportunity. 2 kids running around. Right, so let's have a think about what's actually going on. As the weekly close is going to take place tonight. I suppose that's the most interesting part of it, leading into a decent week, whether it's up or down. Now, obviously, indices, stocks, even commodities, everything started going down dramatically again last week, as we expected it would, and that again, we expected it would bring Bitcoin down regardless of whether they had a bullish or bearish or neutral setup. So it brought it all down, brought Bitcoin down to the bottom of the consolidation range. Almost hit it to a perfect tick when you have a range so sort of long-standing. So the support on this one started all the way back in March. So it's been going on for a little while now. You can't get a perfect tick, but it's close enough to it. You could stick a Rizzle paper in between those wicks and supports just about. But for the most part, it was bang on. And so if you were to focus on this chart alone, this chart being, trade this chart in a vacuum is what I'd say, then this chart here suggests that maybe we've hit the low, and this is the low that takes us back up to the top and then the breakout towards the end of this year. That's what this chart would generally say, given what we're looking at here, especially if we close the candle body of this weekly as a lower low. So this lower low being lower than the previous candle body of 55,800. The reason that's bullish, I know you're going, hang on a minute, lower low's bullish? What are you talking about? Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the old classic wham bam, thank you ma'am, bullish divergence on the weekly money flow index, which is what we would be getting at the moment. Wham, bang, mark the low. Also again, mark the low, even with a March crash. Bang, bang, mark the peak. Lovely. Bang, bang, mark the bear market low, even with the FTX shenanigans. Bang, bang, mark the top, and wham, bam, marks the low. Now, these signals really kind of only make sense in hindsight. We can look at it and go, oh yeah, I got the absolute low. No, I didn't. What are you talking about? I certainly did not get the absolute low of any of these. I bought Bitcoin around 4,000 here. That wasn't the low. Bought Bitcoin, well, I was already in Bitcoin in this area anyway, but sold Bitcoin roughly around 50,000, so I didn't get the absolute top. I got around about these areas, about 55,000. Not got the absolute top. Bang, bang. I didn't buy the absolute low. Absolutely not. I bought around 19,000 and then 21,000. Okay, so like I say, hindsight is the perfect trader. But looking back at this, we're gaining the similar kind of setup that marks a significant low in the market. But let's just fast forward time. 2 weeks in the future now, we see Bitcoin slam down into this area. Oh, okay. Well, where was that ultimate low setup that we were talking about? Well, we'll know about it in hindsight, but it's definitely a good thing to think about. But regardless of that, because we can't put this in, it doesn't mean anything right now. We'll close the week to begin with, and even then, it might not mean anything. It's still a decent place for a bounce or reversal. This could be it. My fear, as I've said for a little while now, is not that of Bitcoin or crypto, it's that of stocks. And, I said that there's a good chance of a double top over here and then, a lower low form on this one. Lower lows back into the 4,000s, maybe even deeper 4,000s. That's what I've been saying. Just because I point to this area, similar to how I say to those of us who trade Bitcoin, as I point to these areas, doesn't mean that that's the target. You don't put your buy orders in here and sort of just walk away. Price action develops pretty much minute to minute. So you've got to work out what's going on. Each day you've got to reevaluate your broader analysis, which is always, for me, done on a weekly. And if we were to look at this on a weekly, we did close above a Bollinger Band, a 20 moving average, the 21 exponential moving average as well on the weekly. So if there's going to be a bounce take place from anywhere, it would happen from here. But if we lose this area, at that point, you'll be looking for lows and new lows and 4,000s. That's what we'll be looking for. So you know what would happen to Bitcoin if that were to happen. So again, that is the fear. That's the fear. It's not that Bitcoin and crypto doesn't have anything going for it. It does, actually. You know, again, if you was to trade, if the only chart in the world was Bitcoin and it wasn't influenced by any other outside force, you know, especially these charts and Dixie, and we've got CPI next week as well, which I think is actually going to be a bullish scenario. I think it's going to be lower CPI than anticipated and stimulate the markets, just because that's how the feeding frenzy of financial traders around the world. Oh, CPI's lower. Buy. That's probably what's going to happen. You know, they're emotional, very emotional people, aren't they? But I do think that is what's going to happen. But yeah, Bitcoin's got a decent chart set up on it, you know, potentially marking a low. Not only that, we've got the total 2 over here as well. The total 2 hitting the 200 weekly moving average. Again, you're going to get a golden cross retest. You know, golden cross retests often turn bullish, don't they? This is a weekly. We had the golden cross over here on simple moving averages. Exponential moving averages has been going since the last bull market, believe it or not. So this is the first and only golden cross retest on the total 2 that you will see on a weekly. That's it. This is the one and only. It's been retested this week, so it's appropriate to assume a decent chance of a V-shaped recovery on this now. Let's take off the noise and let's take ourselves to logarithmic and let's reset the chart and remind ourselves about what my broader analysis is, regardless of what I think of as stocks, what I think of CPI, what I think of all these other things. This is what I think is most likely to happen regardless of stocks and anything else influencing Bitcoin's price. This is the total 2. That's where I think we're going. You know, not as far as price, but as far as time and projection is concerned. This isn't anything new. If you watch my channel, you've probably seen me bring this up about 10 times now over the last few months. This is the deal. And now that we've hit that weekly support and Bitcoin's also at its main support, you know, I suppose you could be more optimistic than we have been at least over the last few weeks. Now that we've come down to those established areas, so look, I like it. It looks good to me. It doesn't scare me. You do have to be a little bit guarded. You can't just go 100x leveraged position because, you know, a weekly chart suggests something. You can't do that, but you can reflect on the overall plan. Remember, last October said there's an alt season coming. We got an alt season. It lasted for pretty much 6 months. At the time of saying that, I was ridiculed. I was ostracized from society. Yeah, I was mocked. I was put in the gallows. I had rotten tomatoes thrown at me. The shame of it. But actually, I was correct, wasn't I? I was right. And you know, a few 100x later, sold. As everybody else was calling for much higher prices. And look what happened to them. Wrecked. Absolutely wrecked city. So, you know, dollar cost averaging throughout this summer was generally a decent... It was a decent idea for taking part in the longer setup, which is fine. I did dollar cost average into a lot of altcoins probably a little earlier than I should have done, and then I sold a fair bit of that, realizing that I think there's a fair bit lower to go. But now I think getting back in on that, based on the technicals on this chart and Bitcoin's chart, regardless of what stocks potentially could be doing. And again, this is the problem that we have. You know, if crypto was isolated from everything else, I'll be almost ready to say to everybody, I think the low's in. You know, so it's a bold thing to say, but I can't say that because stocks don't want that. Stocks are at a major support, don't get me wrong, and a CPI next week, which is going to probably be a bullish scenario, is good as well. But does it mean that there is a low for all markets? It's hard to say. But if it was Bitcoin and crypto isolated on its own, this is as good a place as any. But then the problem with that is that even because Bitcoin and the total 2 and a variety of other things are at major supports, if those supports break, it does get really nasty because it really does break what should be a very strong support. And if that strong support gets broken, you will see probably a significant pullback across the board for crypto. So I can hear what you're saying. You're going, hang on a minute. Why can't you tell me with 127% accuracy that we're going to go up or going to go down? Why do you have to say up and down? What's all this about? That's life, I'm afraid. That's the life of a trader. It could go up, it could go down. What do you think? This isn't Back to the Future. You know, I haven't sort of whizzed forward in time and seen the charts and come back and made a YouTube video about it. This is about me trying to boil down these analysis, boil down these stats and charts, and siphon off, you know, what I think is most likely. There's no 100% guaranteed direction, but you know, sticking my neck out, I think Bitcoin and crypto as a whole is more likely to be at a serious low now than it has been for, well, months. And it's just this little mother over here that could ruin it. But saying that, and again, you just have to say it how it is. Even saying that this could still go down lower, we are at significant support. Yeah, this is the general expectation that you would get when you hit a 20 moving average or a 21 exponential moving average on any time frame. This is what happened on the weekly back in April. Bang, new all-time highs. Now this, bit of a problemo. But we're back at it again. So look, you know, it doesn't have to hold, but if it's going to hold anywhere, or at least form a decent bounce, it would happen from here. So again, let's stew up all that flavour, shall we? Let's see what the crypto casserole tastes like. I think that there's a good chance of a serious bounce here, to be honest with you. Just like I was saying before we hit that area, again, just go back in time. It's only a few days ago I was saying I think we're going to hit 52,500-ish area and find a bounce that could yield a 20 or more % bounce up to the top of the trend line. It's a 32% bounce now. So look, go back in time, have a look. I said that support is where it's likely to hit. We've hit the support. Okay, we're sort of having a small bounce at that support. It's all part of the general plan. The bounce so far has been reasonable. It's a weekend bounce. It's scared, and you can't blame it. It's afraid. It's afraid of what's going to happen when markets begin to open tonight and tomorrow. That's what it's afraid of, and I would agree with Bitcoin. You know, it's afraid, and fair play. You know, there is a death cross on simples. There will be a death cross on exponentials if we can't get above 60,000 over the next couple of days, I would say. So it's reasonable to be afraid, but again, if we were to put it in a vacuum and trade Bitcoin and ignore all other charts, which you can do if you want to, at your peril, and then yeah, this is as good a place for a low as any, if not the low. I'm going to put that on the. I'm going to put that as clickbait for you all, because hopefully by the time you got to the end of this video, you'll have understood what it is that I'm saying. But I need to attract people to the channel, don't I? I need people to click on the video and then watch it, hopefully understand it, and go, oh, right, okay. So it's not a guaranteed low. It's a decent opportunity for a low. It's not a guaranteed low. I see what he's saying now. He brought me onto the channel to let me know the reality of the situation. I can't complain with reality. And then I know what's going to happen next. There'll be a recommended video after mine saying Bitcoin will go to 250,000 in the next 15 minutes. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, yes, yeah. Reality is better than hopium because you make money in reality. That's the only way. That's the only place to go, isn't it? Really, reality. Yeah. Right, I'll leave it with you there. So again, stocks at support. Hopefully you see a bounce. Bitcoin at support. Hopefully see a bounce. Total 2 at support. Hopefully see a bounce. Evidence suggests a bounce. But if the supports break, these are big supports, then I suppose that's where the word crash, dump, wrecked city come into play. But until we see the supports break, buy supports, sell resistances. It's very simple stuff. But yeah, we've waited long enough, and here we are. Anyway, I'll leave with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Let me know if you made it to the end of the video, because I'd appreciate it if you did. And hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.